Love is the air. It's February 14th, Valentine's Day. Welcome to Breakfast Central. And this beautiful Valentine's morning, we have a heartwarming lineup for you today. A lot in store, from politics to news to discussions. We have a very packed package for you this morning on Breakfast Central. I am Benga Boro, and I hand you over to Lady Valentine herself.
Thank you very much, Benga. Thank you for that kind introduction. On behalf of all of us here at News Central TV, it is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to Valentine 2025. Where married people and relationship people have said, we no go gree, oh, we no go gree. Today is going to be tough. I don't think I've seen any year where married people have traveled as much as they have this year, yet they are complaining about the economy. Anyway, as we celebrate and rejoice and especially applaud your love this February, we look forward to doing the same celebration in November. This morning on Breakfast Central, so many interesting conversations will be had. But Benga, before we get into the political conversations we have today, did you see the pastor who said that Valentine is sponsored by one demonic god called Cupid, and quoted one scripture that did not relate to what he said? Do you think that Valentine's Day should be cancelled?
He's farming for engagement. That's what I'll say. There's nothing demonic about it. Celebrate if you want to, but don't pressure people too much. I saw this HR message from another company. I'm sure it was a joke, saying, please, no Valentine's gift. I guess they don't want people to oppress their colleagues. Yeah, so you see, it's a competition of balloons, champagne, chocolates, flowers, and all of that. But I mean, Valentine's Day should be celebrated every day. Let's show love. And let's hope also the government shows love to millions of Nigerians that are in need of succor.
Absolutely.
Let the poor breathe.
We do hope that, Nigeria, the government shows love to Nigerians, and that we can have a country that we can proudly say, a time should come when Nigerians will say, Nigeria is my Valentine. Anyway, let's start the conversations this morning in Enugu State, where we have the House of Assembly on Thursday has approved a motion to prohibit security operatives in the state from searching your mobile phones. Now, they have said that they have prohibited security operatives in the state, particularly the police and the EFCC, from conducting random and indiscriminate searches of individuals and phones. This motion was sponsored by the member representing Ezagu constituency, Chima Obieze, and 5 others. And he stated that the growing trend of random and indiscriminate search of people's phones by the Nigerian Police, Enugu State Command, and other security agencies in the state are in clear violation of Section 37 of the 1999 Constitution. He stated also that the section guarantees the right to privacy, stressing that the privacy of citizens, their homes, correspondence, telephone conversations, and telegraphic communications is hereby guaranteed. He didn't even go further to state that the Police Act and the Nigerian Police Force regulations do not explicitly authorize the police to invade citizens' privacy by searching their phones without a warrant or consent.
I really like that, and I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be hoping that this is a nationwide and not just in Enugu. And I like the word indiscriminate and very random, because they've abused it. I mean, in other crimes, you can't just see policemen come to you and, oh, let me check your phone. You're invading that person's privacy. And the reason why a lot of them do this, to be frank, is a sort of extortion. They're looking for something incriminating. I mean, even so, married people don't even check their husband's or their wife's phone. It's that serious, a sort of privacy. Your phone is very personal to you. So to have the policeman looking at your transactions and, okay, open this app and all of that, when no one has made a report of fraud, or when they don't have any genuine reason. And even if someone has made a report of fraud, there's a due process that ought to be followed.
Exactly. If you're going to request for someone's details, is why there's certain information that your bank would never give out, that mobile service providers would never give out, unless there's a court order that's requesting for that. So there are procedures and processes that should be followed. In the same way that they can't just stumble, they should not, let me not say they can't, they should typically not just be able to appear in your house and tell you to open your house. They need to search you, unless it was smack in the middle of suspicion of commission of an offense, stuff like that. So it's just a lot of reorientation again that needs to occur. But I definitely applaud the Enugu State House of Assembly. But it should be worldwide. It's beyond just,
nationwide.
Yes,
yeah.
It should be nationwide. Thank you for that correction. It should be nationwide, and there should be a reorientation. They need to know that it's not allowed. It's wrong. You are infringing on citizens' rights. And the unfortunate thing is that even if citizens were to speak up for their rights, a number of them will not speak up because they are not the one holding the armed rifle.
It must have been so much the incident in Enugu State for the State House of Assembly to do this. But Olive, as a resident legal luminary, son in the waiting, does the Enugu State House of Assembly, does their jurisdiction apply to federal agencies? Because the EFCC is federal, the police is federal. Do you think it's within their purview to enact this sort of law?
So I don't think that is even what they're asking for is something that's not already existing. What they're saying is basically an implementation of a structure that already exists by the provisions of the law. I mean, if you look at, for example, the Section 37 of the Constitution that the member of the Assembly quoted, as well as the other laws, they're saying, look, this thing is already provided for in our laws. Simply follow the law. They're not asking for something brand new. It's just, unfortunately, the law as it is a far cry from the law as it ought to be, or the application of the law as is a far cry from the application of the law as it ought to be. So I don't think that there's anything really special that they're asking for that isn't already there. It's just an implementation of a system that's already there, which unfortunately is not the norm here.
Fantastic. I mean, get you a resident lawyer on your breakfast show. I mean, how many people can boast of a legal luminary? Thanks for giving us that context, Olive. And also in breakfast conversations, medical students resume protest over UCH blackout. We talked about this earlier this week, and we thought, finally, after 100 days, power has been restored. After 102 days to UCH main facility. But apparently, it's not yet Uhuru, as they say. Medical students at University College Ibadan, Oyo State, are set to resume protest over the prolonged blackout in the medical institution. The renewed demonstration is in response to exclusion of Alexander Brown Hall and Ayodele Falashe Postgraduate Hall from recent power restoration to UCH, despite assurances from the Ministry of Power and the Minister of Power, I beg your pardon, Adebayo Adelabu, that electricity will be restored fully within 48 hours.
I think their anger, their grouse is the fact that these students were the ones that pushed for power to be restored. They were the ones who went to the streets to protest. This light has been out for 3 months, over 100 days. It took over 100 days because of an accumulation of debt to IBEDC, that's the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company. So they were the ones who brought this thing to the fore, bringing it to social media, bringing it to television. How then is the restoration now guaranteed? And the restoration now actually happens in 48 hours, and then the students don't even get their halls restored with light. As someone who's schooled in Nigeria, it's tough enough to go through. I mean, I don't know what the current realities are, but back in the day, we had times where, you wouldn't have power. We had to read with candles and lanterns, and it's not in 2025. That's not the kind of conversations we want to hear. This light was disconnected on the 26th of October, 2024. Unfortunately, look at where we are. It's a conversation that is still being had. So I'm hoping that all the stakeholders, will come together. The Minister of Power, the Minister of Health, the CMD, the Chief Medical Director at the UCH, to restore UCH to the glory that it once was.
Absolutely, and it's as important. I mean, restoring power to the hostel is as important as the main facility, because the students, they need to sleep, they need to study, they need power.
They have exams, they need to prepare for their exams.
It's almost like oxygen. It's a critical need. So please, the authorities in Ibadan should restore power to the hostels at UCH.
Haven't you even realized how sometimes your mood is directly linked to whether there's power?
Yes.
So if you're not having power, you're upset, you're cranky. It's just so many things that we should not really be having those kind of conversations in 2024. All right, and the final conversation we're looking at this morning, Canada denies CDS Musa and others visas.
There's no love in that one.
No love in that one. And, he did talk about this publicly, addressed it publicly. And after addressing it, we saw where Nuhu Ribadu did say, he's glad that he brought it to the fore and had said, you know what, Canada can go to hell.
Do we have that video? I believe we have it. It would be nice to take a listen to what transpired.
Thank you for the courage to say that Canada denied you, they can go to hell. Even though it's painful, it's disrespectful, but we are people, we are strong, and I agree with you. We have to fix our country. We have to do it well. Yes, this disrespect is too much. So, yet is another reason why we work hard to make Nigeria work.
This is quite shocking. A 4-star general, Chief of Defense Staff, Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is Canada, to deny him a visa on legitimate grounds. I mean, this is, to echo the words of the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Rubadu. He said, Canada can go to hell. I mean, after what Nigerians have done for Canada, there's one very popular song, Canada, Canada, you know. A lot of Nigerians go to Canada, and this is how they pay us back on Valentine's Day. It's not nice.
Well, yes, it is very disrespectful to Nigeria that this has occurred, but we're seeing here that according to the Nation newspaper, there seems to be an explanation as to what has occurred. They said it's an error. Let me say it exactly how they put it. They say it was a diplomatic error on the part of desk officers who handled the CDS and other visa requirements. They went on to say that there was no note verbale from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, contrary to existing protocol for any trip by high-ranking government officials. So the questions that have arisen as a result of this announcement is, will this lead to some form of diplomatic tensions? You know, what will this mean? I know that they're definitely going to have conversations about it, but the look of it, it's already had a very negative implication.
I'd like to echo, or also highlight one of the things the NSA said there. It's very disrespectful, and it's time for us to fix our country. So, like they say, the way you lay your bed is the way the way you make your bed is the way you lay on it. And if you've ever been denied a visa before, you would know how painful it is, especially on legitimate grounds. I was denied a Dutch transit visa so many years ago. Since then, any time the Netherlands is playing anybody, even if it's Pakistan, I always support the opposite team until they apologize to me and refund my $100.
I'm hoping that, you know, they watch this video and realize that they need to apologize to Benga Borough at the broadcast.
And a refund with interest.
Yes. Oh, no, so that's another thing. I think that embassies should now start, I'm hoping that in the nearest future, we can get to the point where they can start to refund people's monies. There are certain countries that do that. They won't collect your money until they're sure that they're, you know, grant you the visa. I think I heard Japan does that. I'm not quite sure. But
as we speak, at this very moment, the United States government is building its largest and most expensive consulate at the Eco-Atlantic in the world. Where do you think that money came from? It's from thousands of Nigerians, millions that have been denied visas. So it's a conversation we would like to have.
Yes, it is. But the reactions I've seen to this on social media are mixed. There's some Nigerians who have found it very disrespectful that this has occurred. There are certain other Nigerians who are actually very excited about it because they're saying if these leaders are the ones that are, you know, of course, Nigeria hasn't been the fairest economic climb, but they're saying that the leaders should also feel the pain that the average Nigerian citizen is feeling. But in case you're wondering what they went there to do, they were going to Canada for a veterans event, war veterans event, and they were invited. Unfortunately, half of the team were able to go, the other half were not able to go. But we're sure that it will lead to more conversations and will bring you more updates as we proceed. But that's all on Wake Up Conversations. Let's get into the conversation proper for today and share with you our top stories.